I thought I was helping my coworker through her divorce, but now I need a lawyer and a new identity. The police officer asked me why I had 16 photos of myself on a woman's phone, photos I never posed for, taken through my apartment windows. I couldn't answer because my throat had closed shut. 30 minutes earlier, I thought Vanessa was my friend. Now I was learning she'd been documenting my life for 11 months. The detective scrolled through her camera roll while I gripped the edge of his desk so hard my knuckles went white. Every image was time-stamped. Every angle was calculated. Some were taken from inside my building. Vanessa transferred to our marketing department last January. She was quiet, kept to herself, always eating lunch alone in the break room. I didn't think much of her until she started crying at her desk one afternoon. I walked over and asked if she was okay. She told me her husband had filed for divorce and she had nobody to talk to. I felt bad for her. I'd gone through something similar 3 years ago, so I offered to grab coffee sometime if she needed to vent. That was my first mistake. Within 2 weeks, coffee became daily lunches. Lunches became after-work drinks. She'd text me constantly, asking for advice about lawyers, about splitting assets, about custody arrangements for a daughter she claimed her husband was trying to take from her. But something felt off around month 3. I asked her once about court dates, and she changed the subject. I asked about her lawyer's name, and she couldn't remember it. When I offered to help her move boxes from her old house, she panicked and said her husband was dangerous, and I should never go there. I let it slide because I didn't want to push someone who was clearly struggling. Then my neighbor Kyle knocked on my door one evening. He looked uncomfortable. "Hey man, there's been a woman sitting in a silver car outside your place the last few nights. Just thought you should know." I laughed it off. Probably just someone visiting the complex. But that night, I looked out my window at 2 a.m. and I saw the car. The interior light was on. Vanessa was sitting in the driver's seat, writing something in a notebook. I confronted her the next morning at work. I kept my voice low so nobody would hear. "Were you outside my apartment last night?" Her face didn't change. She smiled softly and said, "I was worried about you. You seemed stressed lately. I just wanted to make sure you got home safe." My stomach dropped. That wasn't normal. That wasn't even close to normal. I told her I needed some space, that maybe we shouldn't hang out as much anymore. Her smile disappeared. She grabbed my wrist hard enough to leave marks. "After everything I've done for you?" I pulled away and walked straight to HR. They said they'd look into it. They never did. Things escalated fast after that. My work email got hacked. Someone signed me up for dozens of spam accounts using my company address. I found a note tucked under my windshield wiper that said, "You don't get to leave me." I installed a security camera at my front door, and within 3 days, the footage showed Vanessa walking up my steps at 3 a.m., standing there for 6 minutes, then leaving. She never knocked. She just stood there. I brought the footage to my manager and demanded something be done. He called Vanessa into his office. She cried and said I was harassing her, that I'd been making advances since she started. She produced printed text messages, conversations I'd never had, screenshots that looked real but weren't. I was put on administrative leave pending an investigation. I hired a digital forensics expert to examine the screenshots. He found metadata inconsistencies that proved the messages were fabricated using an editing app. I brought his report to the police, and that's when they pulled her phone records. What they found made the officer go quiet for a full minute. She'd been tracking my location through a Find My app she'd installed on my phone during one of our lunches. She had hundreds of photos of me, my apartment, my car, my gym, even my mother's house 2 hours away. There were journal entries describing our future wedding and the names she'd picked for our children. The detective looked at me and asked, "Did you ever date this woman?" I told him I'd never touched her. I was just trying to be kind to someone I thought was going through a hard time. The final piece came from Vanessa's previous employer in another state. A detective there had been trying to contact her about a similar situation with a male coworker who'd helped her through a medical crisis. That man had moved twice and changed his phone number 3 times. He'd filed 4 police reports before giving up and relocating entirely. When they questioned Vanessa, she admitted to everything with zero emotion. She said she'd chosen me because I seemed like someone who would care. She said watching me made her feel less alone. She said she'd never planned to hurt me. She just wanted to be close to someone who saw her. Vanessa was charged with stalking, harassment, and filing false reports. She's awaiting trial. I moved apartments, changed my number, and deleted every social media account I had. HR quietly offered me my job back with a settlement attached to an NDA. I didn't sign it. I'm testifying instead.